Okay, so we have seen about before and after test. Now there is one more annotation called before suit and after suit. So for that I will show something here. So right when you go to XML, what is suit here? Before, when I say test folder for before and after, these are test folders. Personal loan is one test folder, car loan is one folder. So that's why scope is particular to that specific test folders. Now when you say suit, suit is something which have whole TestNg XML, isn't it? So all these folders come under suit. And when you say before suit, that will execute before it executes any test in this XML file. Okay, so when you say after suit, it will only execute once all the tests completed in all the test folders, because suit is a parent to the test folders, isn't it? Earlier we said only before and after test, which belongs to that specific test folders. That's why once that folder is completed, it printed rather than waiting for one more test folder. But when you use annotations like before and after suit, so that means those execute first, no matter how many test folders you have, how many class files you have, that will be taken as a priority, and then after suit will be the end after whole your automation suit is done execution. Okay, so this is generally used if you want to set some global environment variables to your framework. Okay, so generally we use before suit, like if you have different URLs, right, in QA environment to run your test cases. For every release you will get one new environment, so that environment details you will set in your before suit, so that before each and every test case starts execution, you will make sure that you load all your environment variables which needed for the framework, and then you will trigger your test cases. Okay, same thing applies to Appium as well. So in REST APIs we use that information to actually to set up that keys, or to handle some APIs you need some secure keys, right? For Google API you need the key, and for Jira you need a header key, and for Twitter you need OAuth key. So if you are watching my rest assured automation tutorial, you will get clear understanding of what I am talking. Okay, so for all this you will generally use that before suit annotation. So this is not a rule, it depends on you. Okay, you are the designer of your framework, and based upon your convenience you can set all these things. Okay, there is no document saying that these things should go in before suit. It's up to you if you are the author of this framework. Okay, so no matter you define anywhere in this 4 tests, I'll go random day 3 and I would write it somewhere in the middle. Before suit public void if suit, something like this. Okay, so whatever code you write inside it will be executed first. So start println I am number 1. Okay, before test told that I will execute first. Now but this is a before suit will be high priority, and I am saying that I am number 1. Okay, so in the similarly you can define after suit anywhere. So let me define in the first place, I will define something here. Annotation is after suit. See how cool it is to work with TestNg. Okay, you have all these features where you can neatly organize your framework. Suit, something like this. Okay, so I am the last. Oh, we already saying I will execute last. I am the last number 1, something like this. Let me put something meaningful. I am the number 1 from last. Cool. So after suit, move your cursor and import after suit annotation. Cool. Let's run our script. There is TestNg run as TestNg suit. Okay, execution is done, and let's see that I am the number one is first, I am the number from the last. Okay, that means before suit and after suit will take control over all the test folders. Okay, scope of it is the entire XML file, whereas before test scope is only for specific test folder. Cool, I think you have got a clear idea on what I'm talking about. And similarly, you have one more annotation like before method and after method. Okay, that is specific to your class file. Okay, that is not specific to XMLs. This test and suit are related to this XMLs. And when you say before method and after method, like each and every test is nothing but a method. I told you, right? Every method in TestNg is treated as a test case. So this is one method, this is one method, all these are different methods. And now when you say before method in that particular class file, so before executing each and every test block, that method will execute. Okay, if there are 4 test cases, let me tell you here. If there are 4 methods in your class file, and when you run and when you have before method annotation, this before method annotation code will execute first, and then one test will be executed. Thereafter again before method will execute it, because this method will execute again, because before each and every method in that particular class this block is always called, and second test case will be executed, done. And again before method it will execute, because we took clearly telling that before every test method go and execute this. So if there are 4 test cases, so 4 times before method will be executed before executing each and every block. Okay, so you can write it anywhere again, before method public void before every, something like this. So you can put any information if you feel that, so that is not mandatory that you have to use all these annotations in your framework. Okay, you might not require before method, or you might not require before suit. I'm just showing that you have all these features in TestNg. It's up to you if you want to use or not, but for understanding and education purpose, I'm showing you all the annotations. And maybe if you want to get into crack some interviews, you might get all these questions. Okay, one famous question what I see in these days, which is popular, is what is difference between before method and before test? Okay, you should be very clear to answer this. For before test, it depends upon TestNg XML file based upon the test folder scope. Before method is nothing but specific to class file, and it executes before each and every method. Before every, so I will execute something like that. I'll write like this: before every test method in day3 class. Scope of this belongs to this specific class only, and I'll run this. Okay, let's investigate how come the values are printed. Okay, so the control came here, right? First I will execute before every test method is printed. Thereafter mobile login car is printed. Okay, so done. But again before executing another method, this is printed, so that means this block is called. Alright, thereafter mobile sign in is printed, done. And again this is printed, thereafter mobile sign out is printed. Similarly this, and then web login car is printed. Okay, so these are like I am number one is before suit, right? That will come on top. So there are just 3 test methods, I guess. There are 4 test methods in this class. Let's see them. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. 4 test methods in this class. Oh, it's 5. I think we skipped it in XML file. We excluded, right? If you remember, we excluded this API thing. Okay, so that's why there are 4 tests here, and that's 4 different times it called before each and every test method. You can use that to delete cookies basically. Like before each and every test, you should make sure that cache and cookies are clear, right, in a browser. So you execute one flow, one login flow, and then delete caches and cookies, and you start another test. If you want like this, then you can use that in before method. It's up to you. Even in REST APIs, you will have to authenticate every time before each and every method. So right now you have some Jira authentication. You do an authentication. That authentication is valid for 5 minutes at least. But still, if you want to make sure that you are connected to server properly or not, put that validation in before test all the time. Sorry, before method, and before executing every test case, it does that. Okay. Similarly, you have after method, which is self-explanatory. As this is executing before every method, when you write after method, that will execute after every test annotation is done. You can write even that as well. Before method, after method, I will execute after every. So okay, move your cursor and do this annotation. Like first this will execute, and then mobile login car as method is done, and this will execute, because after every method we were asking to execute this. So that means before every test and after every test you will see these 2 blocks. Okay, so let me run this test, TestNg suite, and you can see the output. Let's cancel. Yeah, I will execute before, I will execute after. Middle of it, real test case is there. Again, I will execute before, I will execute after. Middle of it, real test. Similarly, this one. So this way you can use before method, before test, and before suite in your framework. There is one more annotation left, which is before class. Okay, take some deep breath. I'm going to explain that in next lecture. It's again simple thing, but just don't get confused. Okay, write it down in a paper, take some deep breath, and then you watch before class. Okay, when I teach everything together, you might be a little confused, but they are just easy and quick to remember based upon that annotation name. All right, thank you.